Hello, my name is Mangrovejane, and this video continues my video journal series of what is happening and what I've been doing in my weeks as my studies come to an end. It's a series where I discuss the things I've been thinking about and writing about, as well as the journey of my visual adventures. I gotta say guys, this week it was a bit tough. I had a visit with my psychologist, and even though I can see the progress I've made over the last year, it's still rough. I still feel embarrassed and annoyed with myself that I need to attend these sessions. It's really difficult to hold a mirror up to yourself and reflect out the awful things you've been hurting yourself with. And it's even more difficult to just acknowledge that is exactly what I've been doing. The good news is that I recognise it a lot more now, and I am more prepared to cope with cyclical thoughts and the imposter syndrome and perfectionist tendencies, but it's still a journey and I'm really uncomfortable talking about it, so I think that's all I will say about that for now. I couldn't make it to class on Tuesday as I needed to pick up my youngest daughter from school that day, the timing of which was right in the middle of what would be my usual class time, so I just had to prioritise my family first, and that's okay, I'll make it up. Next week, on Monday and Tuesday, I'm booked into the space where I'll do my final installation assessment to practice. This allows me the opportunity to do a few things. It allows me to see the basics of what I've envisaged in physical form. It's important to see how the installation will inhabit the space and the real dimensions of where things will be placed. I'll be able to get input from other people about what I'm doing and practice talking about it, and I can troubleshoot any tech issues that may come up and work out solutions for them as they unfold. It's really exciting and really nerve-wracking at the same time, because at the same moment it's the beginning of the physical realization of the piece that is the culmination of 3 years of intense obsessive work on a research topic, and it's the first time anyone has actually seen it. It is also the first time I will see it in anything other than my head or in my drawings, so that's always a bit exciting and daunting because you never know whether it's actually going to pull off the way you want it. I had an interesting conversation with my friend Kath about the visual exemplars I'm writing into my exegesis. A visual exemplar is an artist or group of artists that have influenced your work in some way. That influence can be seen in the way you have produced your work or the journey you have taken towards making your final product. It's like when you have to reference articles you read when you're writing, only for the visual aspects of your work. For me, for example, I started off with visual exemplars within the genre of pop art, such as Andy Warhol and Lichtenstein. At the time, I was making parallels between popular culture and the way people reveal themselves online. Over the past few years, I have found a wider variety of exemplars who are better suited to the kind of artworks I create. I'm fortunate to have seen some of my exemplars in real-life exhibitions. One in particular, AES and F, are a group of Russian artists who make incredibly dramatic, metaphor-soaked video installations. Seeing their works online was not at all the same as being surrounded by both the audio and visuals in real life. Hido Steol, who is a German filmmaker, visual artist and writer who uses platforms to describe and comment on our current digital culture, just happened to be exhibiting at the National Gallery of Victoria when I was there on an artscapade last year. When I walked into the installation of her work, Factory of the Sun, and started watching, I remember being so astounded and immersed and absorbed in the installation and the work that I realised the importance of the physical installation working to immerse and enhance the viewer's experience. Bryn O and the artist Moya have been two of my Second Life visual exemplars since the very beginning. The beauty of Bryn's storytelling over multiple platforms and the way Moya's works are featured in and translate so seamlessly through both Second Life and real life in the most incredible and imaginative ways has always inspired me to play around with pulling the Second Life artifacts that I've been working on into my physical reality. By doing so, I blur the lines between realities and make my second life present in my first life. In a lot of ways, it makes Second Life more real for people as they have something tangible and more permanent to see, especially when they are put in the context of an actual art gallery. I also have a more direct example of Bryn's work in that her Second Life installations inspired me to work on my own installation within Second Life in order to express the narratives that I've observed. So they are a few of the artists I go back to time and again when I need some inspiration or I want to look at the worlds and my work in a different way. I took my first photo in ages in Second Life to make the thumbnail and promotional images for the last video, and of course I managed to get the last video out a little later than I thought, but it still got out. And just as I was finishing up the last few parts of the video, my computer screen went on the fritz. It was all pixelated and psychedelic colours, which of course led me to have a quiet panic attack in a corner, while my awesome partner, who is also my IT support, swooped in and fixed it. I'm still not sure what happened, but it has really made me realise how badly I need to do a backup of my work and a cleanup of my computer. Before I actually start further research next year, I think I will be looking at a whole upgrade for my desktop and, fingers crossed, a gaming laptop so I can finally be portable and not have to pack up my desktop and carry it around in a suitcase when I need to demonstrate things. I've been on the installation sim, working on landscaping and laying down the placeholders that will give me an indication of size and placement of artifacts on the sim itself. I will probably be on a lot during the weekend, working to get through a whole lot more with it and doing some recording for the videos I will need to be working on for it as well. But speaking of the installation sim, have you been to see my sponsor Consignment yet? Consignment Furniture, for those moments when Apple Fall is too full, when the Saturday sale shopping has you lagged out and crashing, and when you need the kind of furniture that is sold in a junkyard. Don't forget Consignment Furniture. I also did a few real life photos this week, not a lot, and just a few around the yard, which is really unkempt at the moment, so it looks kind of wild and has some really lovely weeds growing freely in weird places. This one though is my favourite. I like the colour of the orchid against the dull background of the stairs, and I feel that the depth of field work really well for it as well. Lastly, I've spent a bit of time on Skillshare watching courses on photography. I was totally sucked in by a Skillshare promo on a YouTuber I was watching, and I signed up for the 2 free-month subscription, and I want to tell you, totally worth it. Totally not sponsored, but totally worth it. I have been watching the fundamentals of DSLR photography by Justin Bridges and also the cityscape photography and street photography by Trashhand, who is a well-known Chicago-based cityscape photographer. All of these have been really well done and super practical. The fundamentals course was particularly helpful in getting me to use my manual settings on my camera. If you want to know who I'm watching for tutorials and inspiration, I'll try to remember to leave links to them all in my blog. So that was my week. I'd really like to hear from you about who some of your favourite Second Life artists or photographers are. Leave me a comment down below so I can check them out too. Well, that is all from me here today. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and while you are there, punch the bell as well, which will give you notifications of any new videos I release. And I will catch you all in the next video.